Hi, I'm Jadi and welcome to another session from Step Up series. In this series, I'm trying to show you how to become professional. We learn a lot of things. We learn programming from programming books. We learn databases. We learn system administration, Linux, network, whatever. But when you are going to a real work environment, you will see people using different tools which you have not seen, working in a way which you are not familiar to. For example, using Kafka, using Tmux, using these kind of stuff. And these are not in the books. In this series, I'm trying to show you these stuff so you can step up your programming or abilities, mainly on system admin and programming. For the first part of this series, I'm going to show you how Tmux works, what is Tmux, why people love Tmux, and what's the difference between Tmux and normal terminals we are used to work with. First things first, let's see what is Tmux. If you are watching my videos, you have seen maybe in 80% of them, I'm using Tmux. Tmux is a terminal multiplexer. It can enable number of terminals to be created, accessed, and controlled from a single screen. If you have a screen, for example, if you have a terminal open on your computer, Tmux lets you to split the window in two parts or split them vertically or create a new window on top of this window, and then you can work something here and then switch back to this window and this kind of stuff. This is not the main advantage of using Tmux. This is just a side advantage. Why? Because many people will argue that, oh, my current terminal program has all of these capabilities. I can split windows, I can create tabs. We say, okay, but bear with me and see why you will see many of the professionals working inside Tmux windows. First things first, how you should install Tmux. Unfortunately, Tmux is not part of the main installation of most distros. There are reasons for it, but because most of the normal people won't use Tmux, only professionals will use it. So, if you want to install Tmux under Mac, you can go with brew install Tmux. Under Debian-based distros, Ubuntu, Debian, and others, you can go with apt install Tmux. Under, I don't know, Fedora, Red Hat, the RPM-based systems, you can go with, based on what you have, yum install Tmux or DNF install Tmux or install Tmux from your RPMs. Anyway you want, you can install it. Even under Windows, under WSL, you can install Tmux and use it. But how we should use it? Let's start. We run it. Easy. When you run Tmux, it creates a new session, as it calls it. It creates a new window, window 0, which is ZSH, which is my shell. This is your system, time, and date. So, Tmux is working. Most of the shortcuts are done using the ugly Control-B shortcut. So, if you go with Control-B, for example, %sign or whatever its name is, it will split your window horizontally. If you go with Control-B double quote, it will split window vertically. Let's try them. Control-B %sign. Split the window horizontally. If I go with Control-B double quote, it will split the pane I'm in. These are called panes. So this is one pane. This is one pane now. This is another pane. Pane, like this. This will split the window vertically. You can continue doing the same things. For example, here I can go with Control-B, another double quote. Or I can go with Control-B, %sign. And you see that I can create different things. If you want to move between these, you can go with Control B and then arrows. So I went with Control B, like this, Control B, arrows. You can move between these. So I will go with Control B, right, I'm here. Control B, up, I'm here. Control B, left, I'm here. You can move between these. Even you can change the sizes. You can go with Control B, Control right. I've changed the size. I can go here, I can go down, I can do Control B, up. And as you can see, you can do different things. There are lots and lots of different features. You can move pens to different places and these kind of stuff. I'm not teaching them. Sometimes I use them. I'm showing you the bare minimal to use it as a professional. Something which is very important is Control B, Z, which you can guess what it does. Control B, Z. It will zoom. So if I'm here and I have something here, I can, for example, if I have a LS here, I move up, I do a ping here, I can come here and say Control B, Z, zoom only this. You can do your work here, you can do whatever you want, you can edit a file or whatever, and then do another Control B, Z. You'll unzoom and you will back. So we use it a lot because we have one session. Inside it, we create different panes for different things. Then we move among them. For example, if I'm writing a program, you see this a lot of time. I will break this. I will exit from this. So that one is closed. I will resize it a little bit. And it happens a lot. For example, I want to write a program. I will go over test py. I write my program here. I say, okay, print header. This is Tmux. I will save it. I will come here and go to temp. I say Python 3 and what was the name? Test py. I run it here. I run it here. If I want to change it, I will go Control B, this side, and then I can change things here, add to my program. If I had a Devops, I can open this and say, okay, I want an IPython section. I want to try something here. Let's zoom here. Control B, Z. I zoomed here. Now I can say, okay, let's see the Zen of Python. Import this. It shows you the Zen of Python, the idea behind Python. I read this, say, okay, beautiful is better than ugly. So I will Control B, up, go to the up one, and make this more beautiful. And say, this is my program. Now it's more beautiful. Now go and run it here. You see, it makes life much, much, much easier. I have a file here which shows you, let me open it in Vim, shows you some shortcuts which I wanted to use. So, you saw the Tmux. Now it starts becoming better than your normal terminal. The point is, we can detach from Tmux. This is so cool. So I'm working here. I can just say BD. I detached from my session. If I do a Tmux ls now, you can see it says you have one session, which is called session 0, and it has one window. If I want to retach to it, I will say Tmux attach. To which one? To 0. This is the 0. You can name your Tmux sessions. So I will say retach to 0. In this specific case, which I only have one Tmux, I could omit this and say, okay, only retach or attach to the Tmux session I had. You see, everything is like before. This is so cool because you can even have some program running here. I can say split this and have a ping running here. I want to go and check something. I will go with B, detach. I'm detached from that terminal. I can do other stuff. And whenever I needed to do the same, I can say Tmux attach and attach to the same session, everything is still running. One answer. If you want something on server to be run all the time, we used to use nohu and ampersand at the end. Easier method is using Tmux. Just run it in Tmux, detach from your Tmux, and it's running. Even if you exit your SSS session, if you close your session, or whatever. So you are starting to see why people love Tmux. Another very useful command is BC, create a new window. Now I have one window which is called window 0. I have one window which is called window 1. And you can do different stuff here. Imagine you are working on a project. There is a server somewhere. It has 5 machines connected to them. And one is database, one is backend, one is front end, one is deployment server, for example. So what you can do, I can SSH to the control machine, start a Tmux session, create 5 different windows there. From one, you can SSH to the MongoDB, enter the MongoDB. From the other, you can have a Vim session, editing the source file, multiplex the device, and split the window, run it here, and have it edited here. On the other one, another machine, and another machine. And when you are done with this machine, what happened? And when you are done with this machine, just Ctrl+B, detach from the server, and then exit from the server. The Tmux is still running. Next time you want to work on that specific server, you just SSH to that machine and run the Tmux attach. And you have all those windows and panes still running. So very easy to continue what you were doing. You have seen, in many cases, we have to log into the server, remember where was the database, now exit from this. But if you need your program, I can run my Mongo here. Let's go with Kausei. It says, okay, we are in the Mongo, for example. I can go with Ctrl+B, then 0 or 1. I will move to this window or this window. So I can easily go with Ctrl+B, 0. I'm back in this window. Everything is running. Everything is working. I can create a new one. Say here is a new session. And I'm working on the Kausei, for example, backend machines. And you can split it, have Kausei running codes, for example. Now I'm on the backend machine. You can rename these pages. You can do with Ctrl+B, comma. It says rename this. That was the Ctrl+B, comma. Renamed it. So I can say, name this my backend. Now it's very easy to understand 2 is backend. I can go to Ctrl+B 2. Ctrl+B 1. I'm on this machine. Ctrl+B, comma. I will rename it to the database, for example. Ctrl+B 0, Ctrl+B, comma, control machine. And Ctrl+B C. This is a new window. I'm assuming that I'm working on a server which I have SSH'd into. So from here, I can say Kausei front end. So we'll remember that this is our front end machine. And I will do this and say front end. So if I wanted to go to the control machine, this was it. If I was not, my day work is finished today here, I will go with Ctrl+B, detach from this server. So now I'm detached. Or you will exit this machine. Tomorrow morning, you will come to the work. You will SSH into this machine. And you will say Tmux attach. Or you can say Tmux ls. Show me all the sessions. You have only one session which is named 0, which is not very nice. Let's go with Tmux attach. I will say Ctrl+B, $. I'm renaming the session. $. Renaming the session. I will rename session to Jati. So I will continue my working. If I want to go to the backend machines, Ctrl+B 2, I'm on the backend machines. You see, it's very easy to go inside different machines, have different windows open and working in them. I have seen many people working on real project, and you tell them, okay, you were writing some code in the backend. Now go and check some MongoDB database on the DBs. He would open a new Windows, SSH into that, SSH into Mongo. In a better case. In a worst case, he would exit from this machine, will go and check in the Mongo, return back to this machine to edit. When you have Tmux, practically you have lots of windows open in your own configurations. For example, if you remember on the backend machines, we had some code running here and doing something here, Control B to the other side, and we were writing our code here, for example. This is much easier way to work. This is why people really like Tmux. So what we had, let me go to here, for example, what we covered. As you can see, we started Tmux. We renamed our session to Jody. So now if I have another new window even here, this is a new window. If I say Tmux ls, you will see that it says there is a session which is called Jody. We could have more sessions. So we saw Tmux new will create a new session with the name of Jody. Tmux attached to the session called Jody, Tmux ls, or as you saw, we use Tmux attach only to connect to the only or the last one. We had Control B, D, this detaches you from the session, and Control B $, which renames the session. We had the splits, we had the zoom. So for example, if I switch to the backend again, what I did? Control B, what is going on? Control B, 2, was not sure what was going on. And here, if you want to concentrate more on your program, you can go Control B, Z. Now I'm zoomed on this specific session. If I go Control B, Z, I will be back. What else we had? We had the how to move between these, Control B arrows, or Control B keep the control, or push Control once and then you can release it, but I'm used to keeping it down and moving, so I can rename the I can resize the panes. Control B C created a new window, so we created this. Control B, comma, renamed these windows, so I have good names for them. And Control B, 0, 1, 2, 3, move to these specific windows. You have lots and lots of other stuff in Tmux too. One of the best things is you can detach from them and you can attach later. So it makes everything easier. And when you detach from them, the processes running in your Tmux will continue to run. This is so cool. Some other stuff, for example, is this set W. At the moment, we only saw the commands with Control B. Control B plus, or something here, like this sign, moving around, and different things which you saw. But just like VI, there are two modes of giving commands. You can give commands on the CLI first, you can do Control B, or you can push something like a VI. Control B, then this colon sign, then some specific commands. This is also very useful. I use on daily basis. Say you have 5 different backend servers and you want to do some change on them. Let me show you here. Control B C, I created a new window. Control B this, Control B this, Control B to the other side, Control B this, Control B this, Control B this, Control B this, for example. Imagine that on my test machine, I had created, on my production machine, I had created a window with all backend machines. Here I have Why? Rename window, all backend. I have created a one machine with all backends in it, all 6 backend machines I have here. I want to check something on them. It would be very difficult without Tmux because you had to log in into them one by one, different windows, check if the thing you are looking for is there or not. For example, grep one of the logs for one of your users, and then go to the next machine. On Tmux, you were able to keep open all of these at the same time. And when you are checking this, you zoom on this, you say grep this on the logs, whatever you are doing. But there is one even nicer trick. You can go with Ctrl+B:. Now I can give commands here. Change configurations. One of the most famous ones I'm using is set synchronize panes. Synchronize all the panes in this window. Now if I give a command, it will run in all of them. So if these are SSH'd into 6 different machines, I can just work on one of them, for example this one, and my keystrokes will be sent to all of the panes. So I can go to the temp, grep, blah blah in logs, for example, and run it, and this work on every single machine. Be careful. Sometimes this is very dangerous. When you are doing this, just look into all the terminals and check what you are doing. Because sometimes you may push, for example, backward arrow, top up arrow, go to the previous command. But previous command may be different on different servers. Or you can say Ctrl+R, backward search on your bash commands and go for grep and press enter. In this case, all of them were the same, but it might not be. Or if editing a file, you might be on different lines and different servers. So be careful, but this is very useful. If I want to go to the normal mode, I will go with Ctrl+B:. Now I can get set commands. I will say set synchronize, and as you can see, I just press tab. It completes the command. Set synchronize panes. Now it is off. I can work only on one server. This is also super useful. Another fun things which I sometimes use, because sometimes when you're connected to the server, you have to issue commands at least every, 120 seconds. Otherwise, the server will disconnect you. So in those cases, we run a ping somewhere, which is not very nice. Another nice thing is Ctrl+B:, which is time. This will show you the local time of the server in one of the panes. The good point is it is beautiful. Another point is it is very useful to see it, and also it updates every minute, so practically something is happening on your session and the server won't disconnect you for lack of activity. I said everything good about this, but there are bad things too, in my opinion. Shortcuts are difficult, but I don't change them regularly because you can change your configuration of Tmux and config it very, very nice with a much easier shortcuts instead of Ctrl+B. Although these two signs are kind of logical, because you see it splits this, and here it splits this, although it splits like this. Anyway, but I used to change shortcut, but the problem is you have a server somewhere in a project and you connect to it. The first thing I do is install the Tmux, but there I cannot copy all my configurations. There are programs and ways to do this, but when you are working in a team, it's not nice to change all the configuration on all the systems. It's better to get used to the default ones, in my opinion. Second, scrolling is difficult. If you want to scroll, for example, here, I will go here. Let me go here. I can do a tree, for example, on the temp. If I want to scroll here, you cannot use your terminal to scroll because Tmux is controlling everything. You have to push Ctrl+B and then page up. Ctrl+B, page up and page down. If you want to do the search, if you want to do a scroll, you have to use the Tmux capabilities. I kind of don't like it. Or for example, so Ctrl+B, page up. And then you can have a Q or escape, I believe. No, only Q. Yes, escape also works. Yes, both escape and Q. Another bad thing is you cannot easily copy paste this. Say I want to copy and paste these 4 lines. If you do that, you are copying the whole thing. So you have to zoom first, copy these, then close your zoom. So you saw that Tmux can split the windows. Tmux will retain the sessions. There are ways to save your Tmux session and lots of other things about Tmux. I'm not to show you everything. I'm just showing you the bare minimum, which I use daily and love Tmux. Something which is also very useful is screen sharing. Say I have this Tmux session here. Let me see if I can close this. Say you have a Tmux session here. It is running. You have another window from another machine or even another user. We use this for kind of poor man's screen sharing on the server. I want to show you what I'm doing and it's not working. We have to go to Skype screen share or whatever, or you can easily do it in Tmux. Tmux LS. I have a window which is called Juddy. If I connect to Juddy, Tmux attach to the Juddy. You will see that I will attach to exactly same window. Even it understands and remove this part, so we two have the same proportion of the window. And if I write something here, the other user will also see it. So this is also a very nice feature for a poor man's screen share on Tmux. And you saw that Tmux also works like a nohu. I am running these on a SSH. I've SSH to a server and running this, and I just detach. This is running in the background normally. You don't need to use nohu or those kind of stuff. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I have some notes here. You don't need to copy my notes. You can have yours. I will zoom into this so you can have a better look. And it's good to create your own notes. Create a file, text file, have this. It's time to time you may go there, learn new things, add to them. You may not remember this by heart the next time you need it, but if you know it's there, you can go back to your notes. You can use Notion or any other program, Wiki, whatever, but it's good to keep some notes somewhere. Hope you liked it. I will be glad if you subscribe, if you tell your friends. I will have more hope, should not be the correct word. I will continue making this. Thank you. Enjoy and be professional.